Me and my friends always have this saying of like, girl, smoke the blunt, don't let the blunt smoke you. The
Yeah,
blunt, the blunt was smoking her.
the blunt smoked her a little bit. I'm not gonna hold you. It was a
I mean, the
lot. It was
blunt
a
was
lot.
honestly smoking all of y'all. What's up, everyone? This is Brandon Nick, and you are tuned into another episode of Film Festival Friends, a podcast where I chat with filmmakers that I met during the festival circuit. So if you enjoy process-driven conversation, indie film production, or navigating the festival circuit, then this is the show for you. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on social media so you don't miss out on any of these insightful, dope conversations. Today, I have the honor of chatting with the head nigga in charge of City of Dreamz, Imani Celeste, and we talk about how the power of community and a little weed helped make her dream short film come true. And the conversation starts right now. Welcome. I feel like that was too hard.
Nah, that eats. That eats. Drama.
Hello. I'm so glad to have my festival friend Imani here with me. How are you feeling on
Yes.
today?
I'm feeling great. I'm excited. Excited to have this conversation with a
Yes.
talented ass filmmaker. So yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
Yes, it's given the Hollywood Reporter's actor on actor, but filmmaker on
I
filmmaker.
know. Director on director.
Can you describe City Dreams in 25 words or less?
Okay, period. I think this is 25 words or
Okay.
less. So it's four Black art students telling stories of community, divine intervention, and the artistry that led them to that moment, which is smoking weed in a cramped apartment, trying not to get caught. I think that's I think that's like 25 words.
I love that. And like I love like naming for me. Like I love that you made a film about folks smoking weed.
Yeah.
Literally there was a, and I know we haven't even gotten into the questions yet. There was a moment in the rotation where the bookish one
Yeah,
when
Sade.
like her Sade, so like her first inhale, like she's gagging. Me and my friends always have this saying of like, girl, smoke the blunt, don't let the blunt smoke you. The
Yeah.
blunt the blunt was smoking her.
The blunt smoked her a little bit. I'm not gonna hold you. It was a
I mean, the
lot. It was
blunt
a
was
lot.
honestly smoking all of y'all, if we can be real, especially the gentleman who had like that very hearty laugh. Um,
Yeah.
but I love that. Okay, so before I get into the origins of the film and how the film was made, I'll just
Mhm.
ask for like, the steak and potatoes.
Mhm.
How did you fund your film and like what was the budget for the film? What did that look like for you?
So my budget was $8,750.
Exact. Love that.
Exactly. I got a grant at NYU. So I went to NYU for acting. I
Okay.
minored in film. So I really did 4 years for acting. I learned how to screenwrite. That's about it. In my film
Mm,
minor, we learned like, here's a cowboy shot, but we didn't really like learn filmmaking
yeah, yeah,
101.
yeah. How did
Mhm.
you and I love that you went to NYU. I know so many like NYU actors. So like it is
Yeah.
exciting to like
Yeah.
exist in that pantheon of greatness. How did you land on your cast and your crew? And I feel like I remember you saying this in one of the talkbacks that we did, that like some folks were like family members. Am I mistaken in that?
Yeah, my parents are in the film.
I love that. Yeah,
I
so yeah, talk
casted
to me
my
about that.
parents. Yeah, because we didn't have a budget like that. We was working on $8,750. So I was like, I shot in my apartment.
Yeah.
My parents are in the movie. Katrina, who plays Sade, I met her the very first day of class,
Wow.
similar to how it is in the movie. Not exactly like that, but
Hmm.
similar. We're the only two Black girls in class, and it was friendship. Dante, who plays Dre, I met in high school. Jalen, who plays Angel, I met during the pandemic. We had pandemic classes together. And so it was just like, that was our lead cast, everyone I met through NYU. It's just like a lot of like close friends. One person I casted on spot, like literally down the sidewalk. Hey, can you be in this movie? Because somebody dropped like day of.
Well, how'd
So,
that
but
go? Tell
most
me about that. Tell me about that story.
that was I was like ready, like like with filmmaking, you never know what to expect,
See.
and you always gotta expect the unexpected. Something's gonna go wrong, right? But it's like as long as you're prepped for it, it doesn't matter. But what happens when someone you've been practicing with isn't there and
Mm,
can't show up, and you need this person to be there because it's a character in the script?
yeah.
And then they were shooting a music video on the same block in Bushwick that we were shooting at, And so I told my AD and my grip, I was like, yo, can you go over there and ask somebody in
Somebody.
that group to be in the movie? They
Wow.
grabbed the youngest guy. His name is Zan. It's great.
And wait,
He
which
hit all
character
his
was he?
marks. The one that's like clowning him,
I see. Yes. Ah, okay.
literally met him
Wow.
that day.
Wow. So
Yeah,
he look, he
yeah.
that was a blessing for him. He got double booked.
He got double
Double
booked.
booked. Wow.
So I was just a blessing because I was about to cry. And I'm a
Shout out to the
face.
universe. It's giving look
Shout
like
out to
anything that can go wrong will go wrong, but the universe will always have your back. And I think that is beautiful that everything was in alignment in that
exactly.
way. And for you, like what was it like rather working with people who you have such a personal relationship with? Like actually working with your parents and like, childhood and college friends.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's a beautiful thing. Especially like working with like friends of mine that we've been like, I've been doing African dance since I was like 13. So it was like to be able to showcase something that is like, because my film is somewhat of a personal story, but also like showcasing my friends and having them be in this piece of art that means so much to me. And for them to eventually, go to screenings and see themselves was like so wholesome. And then with my parents, it was funny, but it was also like, yo, like, sometimes like your family gets you tight sometimes, so you like, yo, like I need you to like bring it a little harder, whatever. Like my dad
Yeah.
wanted to improv and like
Our parents, and I'm thinking about the parents specifically, our parents are so used to like um our interactions looking a very specific way, but now it's like, no mom, I actually like in this moment I am in charge. I need you to sit
yeah. I
here,
gotta
say
I
your
gotta tell you
lines,
what to
say
do.
it this
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm just like that is a beautiful testament because I'm just like I don't know what like trying to direct my mom would even look like, but
yeah,
shout out to making it work. And that was, I mean, and it is also just very beautiful, right? To like I
yeah,
imagine for you to like see the film and be like, this is my family. And I think it also
yeah.
showed like there is a level of chemistry that is really beautiful, I think,
Mhm.
between all of y'all, right?
I like it was I think it's really beautiful to work with like people you're so close to and you've
Yeah.
known for so long. And it's like I remember telling my mom's like, to do something, and she like checked me like a black mom would, like, like, don't talk to me like that. Like, and I'm like, girl, like we don't got time for this right
Yeah.
now. Like
So
we
wait,
need to
were
go. But
they
then she did amazing.
were when you told them like, hey, I'm casting y'all in this film, what was their reactions? Were
Like,
they
okay, like we just gotta, like, they were ready for it. Like, you know
Oh, I
what I
love
mean? They
that.
were like, okay, just let us know what time you need us. And like, I feel like, most parents, not most parents, I won't generalize, but I know some parents aren't, accepting of arts and all
Yeah.
the things. So I just like appreciate that my parents like let me shoot in their apartment. Like
Mm.
someone pushed my mom's ottoman like out the door. So when she came in, her ottoman wasn't inside the apartment. And she's like, why is my ottoman outside? Like, and I shot in this apartment too for my second short. And like we like they like put lights on the ceiling and taped it with gaffer
Ooh.
tape. And so some of that like tape ripped
Ooh.
off some of the paint in the ceiling. So like they support me when they see the film and it's good, and they're like, congratulations. Even though like I put them through the ringer a little bit
Right.
with, small budget, sometimes you gotta shoot in your apartment. So
Yeah, how did you
yeah.
arrive at City of Dreams?
Yeah, and I was like, I want to make a TV show about what it's like to be black and in college, but specifically art school, because that's a very different experience. And then being in New York City and like living here versus like being a transplant and what
Yeah.
it's like. And at that time it was COVID too. So we
Yeah.
low key were
Ooh.
smoking fake blunts during Rona. Like it was a lot of things happening. So at this point it was like 2021.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, like figuring out this story. I will also say they partnered us up with a mentor. His name is Alric Brown. He's
They
an
went into
NYU
school when you got the grant.
NYU, yeah.
Okay.
They partnered us with a mentor. He teaches at NYU. His name is Alric Brown. Incredible human being, incredible mentor. And he was like, originally it was going to be 4 poetry shorts based on the themes of the show. And he
Mm.
was like, nah, that's whack. Like, mad people do that. Like, you gotta, like, like he was being mad blunt about it. Like, I mean, he probably didn't say it was whack, but like, essentially
Yeah,
that's what he
yeah.
said. And he was like, nah, like you gotta make a story. Like you're here to make a short, make a short. And so I was thinking about it and I was thinking what's the best way to tell the first season arc of every character
Yeah.
in like a succinct 15 minutes. How am I gonna do that? And I was like, smoking weed, duh. Like that's one of the best like storytelling methods there are. Like you smoke a blunt with your friends, you smoke a joint with your friends. Now you're unpacking your entire life.
See.
And you get to play with time because time doesn't exist when you're high.
It don't.
So
It
it
don't.
doesn't. So then I was like, that's it. Like they're telling it's a cipher, it's a circle. And like what that also means in like a historical black context of like
Yeah.
griots telling stories and circles in the cipher and all that. And so I was just thinking about so many things and I was like, okay, this is how I'm going to tell the story. And I got the grant, I think April of 2021. And then we shot October 2021. It took 2 years to finish. I didn't finish it till September of like 20, like, or August of 2023.
Wow.
And then it premiered at New York Latino Film Festival. And then it's been screening
Everywhere
since.
since. So wait,
Yeah,
what
which
was
is crazy.
because now I have like 40 questions, but
Yeah.
what was the 2 year process? What was the reason behind the 2 year process?
Well, I mean, again, it's like I didn't go to film school. So I
Right.
personally didn't really not, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Again, I knew how to screenwrite,
Right.
but like I didn't know cameras, lenses, all the things. And so, one, I had to do a lot of YouTube research. Two, I had to reach out to everyone and their moms essentially to be like,
Mm,
hey, I have this film. This is the idea. Do you want to work with me? I know I have no experience. Please work with me. Please. So Alex Wolin, who's incredible DP, he was really like he really loved the script. He,
mm,
helped me out. Like he brought his camera on, like he did it for a lower rate than, most people probably
would,
would. Like he
yeah.
was just really like down for the project. So it's just like everyone I was gathering, everyone like, please help me,
Yeah.
homies, help me. And so we
Shout out
were
to
just kind of
community.
shout out to community because so many people like Max, I'm like, who am I forgetting to name? But like everybody that was on the set that just, was there for me. Like Haley, my dad was a PA driver. Like he
Oh
drove
wow.
his car. We like put it in the camera equipment in a cart and
Yeah.
we push that in there. NYU eventually, I had to, fight a little bit for it. They eventually gave me lighting equipment. At first, they wasn't gonna give me lighting
Oh
equipment.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a lot of like reaching out to everyone to be like, just please believe in me. And I know that
Yeah.
this is gonna be fire. Once we shot in October 2021, I didn't know who to reach out to for post. You know what I mean? I
Mm,
don't know
yeah.
what I'm doing. So I like reached out to a friend who did a short and I was like, yo, can you send me your sound person? So I got my sound designer from them. Joey, incredible human being. I
Mm-hmm.
had a editor and like they did great work, but then it was like I needed to elevate. So that's why it took also 2 years. And then I found my like go-to editor now, Simo
Oh yeah.
Matza, and he just brought it to like a whole new level because he taught himself VFX. So then we like
Oh
played a lot with like that. And so that was like a process of us like, becoming friends, but also like of building what this film could look
yeah.
like. Because again, I wanted them to get more high as you watch the film. So
Yeah.
what does that visually look like and making it trippy? So it was a lot of like pulling on community and then me just because like I'm like a go-getter. Like I do procrastinate a lot. I'm not gonna hold you. But it was like I need this to work. And I was like, I'm gonna be a director. Like I'm gonna figure it out. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll learn about lenses. I'll learn
Yeah.
about shot listing. Like I'll figure it out. And
And for me,
then
it's just like no,
that just happened.
knowing this and hearing all of this. I think this is such a beautiful testament to honoring and like really holding your voice.
Mhm,
And how does that adage of like do it afraid, like do it scared, do it in the dark, and like
mhm,
trust that things will come along the way. Because it's like it sounds like what I'm hearing is like acting is my thing. I also wanted to tell this story. Like I wanted to do this show. I didn't really
mhm,
know what I was doing essentially, but community guided me along the way. And I'm also whenever I'm starting something new, and this is something like you were talking
Mhm.
about coming from school. One of my favorite college professors, he used to always say, start with what you know and then grow. So whenever I'm doing something
Mm,
new, it's just like, all
I
right, let
love
me start
that.
with like the easy, like the low hanging
Hmm.
fruit, the people I know, the information that I know, and then
Hmm.
from there I can grow. And I feel like that is also like what you were doing with City of Dreams. It's like I know I can act. I have friends who can also
I
do a
have
thing or
friends,
two. You know, just like, and
literally.
from there, I will grow and learn all of the things that I
Hmm.
need to learn. Which I think is really just like, again, another beautiful testament to the journey of like independent filmmaking. And I think that it's
Yeah.
very beautiful. And I'm so glad that you named your editors and your sound designers because I definitely wanted to like talk about how much I loved both of those aspects of the film.
Oh,
Like, no, the editing is really solid. Like, and I'm saying this
yeah.
as a person who edits. I was like, oh no, this is really good. This might be a Brandon thing, but I imagine other folks are like this
Hmm.
as well. It's like, I don't know if I was hired to do this project, if I would have edited it the same way, which isn't to say if
Yeah.
I would have done a better or worse job. It's just like a different job. And I
Hmm.
really loved the way that this was edited, like the like speed ramp shots, the like this like superimposition, like all of these
Yeah.
like practical and visual effects that y'all were doing to like really lean into the world of like we have boots, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we are high boots. And so I really appreciated visually and audibly just like navigating this experience in this world. What was the conversation like for production and post-production of like capturing this visual audio like language and articulation of the film?
Like I talked to, Peyton, my sound designer about this, and then also Alex, my DP, about this, about creating different worlds. But then in post, it became like, again, they say like you make a film three times: when you write it, when you shoot it,
And
and
when
when
you
you
edit,
edit it.
see,
So it was like, it's funny because I knew when I was like finished with my first editor and I was moving, I didn't know who my second editor was going to be at that time, but I knew I had to make it bigger and better because I
mm,
was like, we're getting high. Like I need this to match getting, I want it to feel like what it's like when you get
yeah,
high. Although I don't really smoke weed anymore. But anyways, I feel like a low key a little bit of a fraud because of that. But
but at the time you
so I
did.
want yeah, but like barely still. I don't know if you could kind of tell when I pull in the film, but whatever. We're gonna we're gonna move on from that. But I was like, I needed to feel different. So I
Yeah.
met Simo because I do this thing, and it's gonna sound crazy when I say it, but I artistically stalk people. So I like look at like the credits of like, oh, this person is the director, DP, producer, editor, whatever.
Yeah.
And so one of my friends' radio had a music video, and I thought the cut was fire. And I was like,
Mm.
who edited it? I clicked on Simo's Instagram, found his email. I emailed him. We like got along immediately on that first call. And so I gave him the footage. He was like, I would love to do this, whatever. And the first, I let him like, editors do their first pass.
Yeah.
He made the shaman disappear, and I was like, "Yeah, bro, you got it. You got it. Like you ate that. Like you ate that. You chewed. Like that's crazy. You just made my son disappear. Like what? Like." So I was gagged. I was gagged. And we just spent a lot of time like figuring out how to make it trippy. Sometimes he
Yeah.
went like too far. Sometimes I was like, okay, let's bring it down a little bit, but like we finessed it. The credits is my favorite part.
Which
Um
I'm gonna get to
I
as well.
love the I love the credits. But we were just playing with different things, the opening of the chain, which I should have worn it, but it's like little things like that. And then with sound too, this was me and Joey's first time working together, and he's a genius. So he like cleaned up the sound, cleaned up the audio, and then that's
Yeah.
when we like experimented
Freaked it.
with it. All the times we hit the blunt is actually a record pop, like a vinyl pop.
Ah,
He
nifty. Come
really
on, Foley.
ate.
We love Foley art.
Yeah, yeah. So he just like, we experimented with it, and then we would sit there and we'd think about, okay, we can add this sound, and like we'll go through his sound library. Like I love working with both of them. So
Yeah.
I'll be there with them for hours. Like me and Simo probably worked on this film for months before we
Wow.
even passed it along, and just like hung out, watched it. would go through a scene, figure out what cuts. I'd figure
Yeah.
out what takes I like the best, and then we just went from there. But it was just like a fun experimental process where we just like tried shit and we were like, oh, that's cool. Maybe that's too
Yeah.
much. And we just like, again, and then same with color too. I wanted the like saturation to get brighter as the film went along.
Let me know if I'm far off, but like what I'm hearing is like you as a director, like trusting your collaborators, right? Like I'm trusting
Mhm.
you, Simo, to like do this thing. I'm trusting you, sound designer, to do this thing. And then from there I can like, reel it in or zhuzh it, finesse it a bit more, but
Yeah.
like giving them like that freedom to just like play and like find
Hmm.
as you were saying, like what is that story, like what is that third story that we're telling in the edit? So I think it's really beautiful that that you are so trusting, especially as you
Hmm.
are, as you were saying earlier, like I am learning all of this, I'm building the train as I'm driving it,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's really beautiful that you were able to like trust your collaborators and that now y'all have such a beautiful relationship. And what I've been enjoying
Hmm.
about the festival circuit is being able to see so many films. And I think in seeing other like work by queer folks, black queer folks
Hmm.
specifically, like, it helps give it helps inform your own visual language and visual
Yeah.
articulation, which is to say another aspect of City of Dreams that I loved was the way that you did the credits. Like, baby, and I'm saying
Yeah.
this as a person who like between the last two shorts I did Miss Honey the Cat Too, which I think is how we got
Which was
into the
fire.
which thank
Let's
you, which is
let's
how
get
we got
into
into
that.
cahoots. Like I'm not a fan of like scrolling credits. Like they don't really do much
Yeah,
for me. Like,
so boring.
I need my whole time with you to be engaging. So I remember the first time that I saw City of Dreams and it said, hold up, wait a minute, we ain't finished. And then I was like, oh, this shit is fire. Shout out to the head bitch in charge because she ate that.
Yeah.
It inspired me to even imagine better or imagine stronger about like how I
Hmm.
do my credits. So thank you for
Yeah.
giving me added visual language. Hats off to you. Like this being your like first project, you are doing all of the stunts, all of the shows, reinventing and reimagining the landscape of queer cinema. And I think that is actually very beautiful.
Yeah. And I think it's like important too for like black folks to see themselves in a different like because I feel like we're always not I don't want to again like just have an
Generalized.
umbrella thing, but like I think sometimes we're afraid of how whiteness perceives us. And I hate that. Like,
Yeah.
with cinema, like there's like this respectability politics sometimes. And it's like, fuck those respectability politics. I'ma do me, and y'all are gonna have to sit there. And you're gonna have to sit there whether you like it or not. You're gonna sit in this movie, watch it for 12 minutes. And if you see my son with the camera, you see head nigga in charge, you see all of this, like it just is what it is. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think that is like my stamp of like, I'm gonna do what I want. Fuck respectability
Yeah.
politics. Fuck what your perception of blackness is or Latinidad or queerness. Like it has to fit in your box. It doesn't have to fit in your box.
Right.
It could be what it's gonna be.
And what and as you were talking, it made me think like, yeah, if I were to define Black queer filmmaking, and I don't know that I necessarily have a definition, but I know one of the factors of like Black queer filmmaking for me is to be able to and create ignoring the white gaze, right? Because like literally what you
Mm,
were talking about, like Black queer film, Black queerness in itself is just like very much adverse to or like in opposition to like the status quo and like and seeing that translated into film is very like very dynamic and like
mhm.
again brings people in because what I will also say is like the characters felt very relatable. Like I knew all four of y'all. I also knew the
Mm.
mom. I also knew the dad,
Yeah.
right? I also knew the possibility model sitting in the bench next to sibling who was like, girl, why are you
Yeah.
in my face? It's rude to
Yeah.
stare.
Yeah.
And even in that, just, being inspired to be like, okay, bitch, I see your rude ass and your rude ass has given me permission, to now
Yeah.
explore and do
Yeah.
drag. I enjoy how deeply you leaned into, the authenticity of the world of Black queerness and like brown queerness
Mhm.
as you knew it. So again, I mean,
Mhm.
so much of like I think this podcast is really just me like loving up on the folks that I've
I
been in
appreciate
the
that.
that I've been in the
Yeah.
festival circuit with. Hey, popping in real quick. This isn't an ad. This is a request for community support. If you're enjoying Film Festival Friends and appreciate queer storytelling, then join my Patreon today. These shows are free to watch, but they are not free to make. Your contribution helps me produce shows like this. To sign up, visit the link in my description. Thank you in advance. Now let's get back into the conversation. I think I might have seen your film first at NewFest, but I think we might have met in person first at the festival in Newark.
Yeah, it was
At
the one
the
in Newark.
Newark LGBTQ Film Festival,
Home festival, yeah.
which was again great. Like that was great because of like the community aspect. I remember us all just like sitting
We was
outside of.
vibing.
We were
Yeah,
vibing.
you gave me
We were
life
vibing
advice.
deep.
I did exactly what you told me, but
Oh
yeah.
yes. Wait, so I'm so glad you brought that up. So wait, we need to spend a block on that. And so if I'm remembering correctly, and fill in the gaps, if I'm remembering correctly, we were outside of the venue for Newark LGBTQ Film
Mhm.
Festival, and you were telling us because there was a group of us, and again, a group of us in a circle,
It was in a circle. Yeah.
a group of us in a circle, and you were telling us about the next film that you were working on, and you were having issues with like music licensing or something like that.
Yeah.
And I remember suggesting like, just like getting, I think this is how, what I probably said, like getting some level of, like a licensable song from like, one of the libraries and then just like throwing lyrics on top of it. You like essentially making your own hook. Is that how it went?
Yeah, you were like some pussy like Dasani or something.
Yeah, do you like this song? Oh my god, I'm actually gagging that you remember that.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was
so
so
wait,
good.
is that the actual line that you use? Because if you,
No,
okay, because I'm like,
no,
let me
I
just see this.
wish. I'm gonna have to write a verse with pussy like Dasani in the
Pussy like the
actual verse.
shiny. Okay, so wait. The takeaway for any indie filmmaker or any filmmaker out there is like if you can't license a song or if you can't find the song you need, find you a licensable beat and make the song yourself. Okay, so wait, really quick, going back to the festivals. How many festivals has City of Dreams been in so far, and how much have you spent on festival submission fees?
Child. Don't ask me that question. I have no idea. Because like I tried to do my taxes. I think it had to be like again, just paying for festivals is probably like 1G, 2Gs,
Yeah.
like probably around there. But then you want to travel and you want to be the director and show your face. Guess what? Now you're spending another G, 2Gs traveling. Like,
Yes.
so it's been hella expensive.
It does add up.
I have a full-time job, so that is why I'm able to spend. I feel like that's another thing is like I guess like I could say I'm privileged in that sense
Yeah.
that I have a job where I'm able to, take some of my check and put it into
Yeah,
filmmaking
yeah,
because
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think it is easy to spend a G, 2Gs, you know what I mean, as an indie filmmaker. I just want filmmakers, anyone watching, to like have the patience because it started off like strong. We got into like Nihilift, we got into Bushwick, we got into Real Sisters, and it was like a couple festivals, and then it went quiet
Mm,
like
yeah.
for a good minute. And then May we picked up with Inwood, but then I found out I got into Palm Springs, and Palm Springs is huge.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've never been to Palm Springs. So it's like, okay, a bitch is traveling now. Like, you know what I mean? We're outside.
Yeah.
So
Deep
it's like
outside.
so deep outside. So we in Palm Springs. Like that's crazy. So it's like I went to Palm Springs, then the Newark Black Film Festival, then Holly Shorts, and then it was just like we're picking up again, and then New Fest, and so it was
Yeah.
just like moving from there. It was like picking back up again. So it was just like more things were happening, and sometimes film takes a life of its own and it'll have its like ebbs and flows. And sometimes there's not going to be as much screenings, and then sometimes there's going to be a shit ton of screenings. So it's like
Yeah.
believing in your vision and being patient with the festival circuit
Yeah. And so
because it
wait,
could
so
be
you were
crazy.
also at New Fest Pride this year. That was this year? Yeah, this year, early this year. Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. I wish I'd have known because I'd have pulled up again. Because like I mean, for me, it's like I love City of Dreams. I think that is such a fun vibe to just like sit and watch
Hmm.
and it, like the energy of being in a room, which is why I love
Hmm.
festivals. To like
Yeah.
experience Black queer art in the presence of other
Hmm.
folks, even if not everybody is
Yeah.
representing us or representative of us, is nice. And I love that you had this like back to back New Fest relationship, and like New Fest had also I'm trying to remember the network, but like a few films from last year had like gone to AMC. So like, how was that for you to like have this like I guess this level of support? And I'm also just like gagging because like gagging in real time because I'm like, this is your first short film, and it has done so many beautiful and wonderful things, right? And so again, just
Hmm.
flowers to you. But I guess going back to my question because I can sing your praises all the time.
Hmm.
How was that? Like, how was your relationship with NewFest, and like just knowing that, like, and what was the as much as you can share? What was it like
Hmm.
behind the scenes, like of like getting City of Dreams to AMC?
Yeah, I mean, I love NewFest, and
See,
Nick and Anton know that.
hello,
Like,
Nick.
I love them so much. Like, and it's crazy because it's like I met Anton on in Black Star, and that's kind of
Wow,
how I got connected to NewFest. And like he
love
came through
that.
to the screening and Black Star, and that's kind of like where I met New Fest and how my relationship started like building with them. And then City of Dreams got into New Fest, and they just always show so much love and so much care, which is really nice because I feel like
Hmm.
sometimes festivals they're just like you just kind of go in and you go out and that's it, and you
Yeah.
like that's it, that's your 10 seconds of fame and skedaddle,
Yes,
like that's
yes.
it, we showed your film, goodbye. But like they're really like family oriented, like everyone there is also mad cool. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I have like friends now from New Fest, which is like a beautiful thing. But just speaking to AMC, like that was crazy. I used to watch Walking Dead religiously. Like Michonne was my bitch. Like like my family, like my best friend would come over, my uncle would come over, my uncle's friend would come over.
Oh
My
yeah, I was
mom, my
having Walking
dad,
Dead watch parties.
Walking Dead watch parties every weekend. So I like grew up on AMC. Like I was obsessed with zombies. And so to now, like, I was like gagged. So I maybe cried a little bit. Seeing my friends see themselves on the
Mm,
screen is like
mm,
really, really beautiful.
yeah,
Um, and I'm just gonna go with the first thing that comes to mind. But it was at the Newark Black Film Festival.
yeah,
And I mean, it's the oldest running Black film festival in the country.
yeah.
Um, and all the aunties were coming up to me and saying how much they love the film.
Mm.
And I love when a Black auntie tells you that they love something.
Yeah,
You know what I
right?
mean? Like, it's just
Yeah.
such a beautiful experience. So it was like, that was just a really beautiful experience. Like you're meant to do this, like
Yeah.
reaffirming like why I'm here, why I'm like
Yeah.
put on this earth is like, no, you're meant to do this. Like you're gonna be big, and like taking pictures with me like I'm a celebrity. I'm like, yo, I'm a random
Because they're
shorty,
gonna be
like
like, oh,
you
I
like
remember I met her this
I
one
met her
time. It's
that
so good
one
to see
time.
her grow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
it was like really beautiful. I think for me it was like it was just reaffirming why I'm doing this. Cause like like with film, like you have your moments of doubt. Should I be doing this? This shit is expensive.
I'm
I'm
navigating that
tired.
now.
You know what I mean? Like all the things. Like if you're working full time and you're doing this, like you're
Mm,
tired all the time, or like you're doing other things. Like you know what I mean?
yeah.
So it was just like having them being like, no, you're meant to do this. Like, this is so special. Like, what you're doing is so special. And I think that's like a really, really beautiful thing for me. And then also
Yeah.
just like people coming up to my parents and thinking they're actors is like mad funny to me because like they'll be like telling my mom like, oh, you're so amazing. And so then my parents like get into like who
Yeah,
was
yeah.
better
They
in the
better be
film.
gassing your parents.
Yeah, so they be like arguing like, no, I was better. She was good just because of the editing, da, da, da. Like that whole thing. So I think those have
I would
been the
definitely hire your
most.
mom. No shade. I would definitely hire your mom.
I'm gonna
Your mom
tell
was fab.
her.
No, dude, like
I'm gonna tell
your mom
her.
was fab. Your mom being
Mhm.
a mom felt so real. And there was like the moment and like we don't even see her face as you say it, but you're like, it's okay, you can laugh. And I can just remembering that that was your mom, I'm just like, I wonder what's going on in this lady's head right now. And then like to see like to
Yeah,
cut to her seeing her laugh, and that was actually like a real joy. And just like, that very I don't know if staunch is the right word, but that like staunch face of like I know y'all little Nicholas was in here smoking down. But I love y'all, and I also used to be young, so I'm a hold space. But don't let this happen
yeah.
again, because I don't need your
Don't
mother
try
cussing me
it.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
Has there been any conversation in the like during your festival circuit run around like the use or the vehicle of weed?
People asked me if we use real weed to smoke, and I was like, oh, "Fuck no!" Like, you thought I would be able to direct, produce, like act, like all of that while being smacked? Like,
Right.
there's no way we actually smoke real weed. So, just putting it out there, we were not smoking real weed. We use this herb called kanik. We
Yes.
got it from there's like a herbal store in the village.
Hmm.
It actually opens up your lungs apparently.
Oh, okay.
But Katrina, who plays Sade, was like, "Yo, I'm feeling a little lightheaded. Like, is this? I don't know if this is a placebo effect or like what's going on." But we were like, another joint," and we was just like, my grip would be like rolling it up as we were like prepping this whole thing. So it was mainly conversation around um asking if we smoked real
Were
weed.
you guys high? Oh my gosh. How
Were
was the
we
family
actually
high?
high? And I was like, no, we were not, because I would have not been able
Been
to
able to do my
direct
job. Yeah.
if we were high. I mean, it would have been a great acting experience, but y'all might have not gotten a whole story if we were all high
Yeah.
while doing this.
And I'm probably just like talking to myself at this point because I feel like us as filmmakers, we are quite aware of this. But this is like, there are so many things in like hindsight, they'd be like, damn, if I could have adjusted this, or if I could have,
Hmm.
if I could actually like if I'd have said cut like 4 seconds later or like 4 seconds sooner. But then like, what folks ends up seeing is just like perfect for them. It's just like,
Hmm.
oh, like City of Dreams was great. What do you mean you wish you did this thing? Like it was great
Yeah.
as is. Like, what do you mean you wish there were more people at the pier? And I'm saying this for me, like, I love how
Hmm.
calm the pier felt. It was very much like
Hmm.
I'm on this date with this boy. It's
Yeah.
given very easy breezy, beautiful, blue sky, blue
Yeah.
day. It's like one of those things. It's like for us as the artist, the person, um, who like knows the project inside and out is just like, damn, I wish I'd have did this. Like even when I see like Miss Honey or like when I'm watching home, it's just like,
Hmm.
damn, I'm really missing this one scene, or damn, I really
Hmm.
wish, like this could have happened. Or
Yeah.
or even, the inverse of like, I'm really glad that this thing happened. It's just like nobody ever really knows.
Nobody
Like, yeah,
notices, and
nobody
you
ever
could
notices.
like have sleepless nights over it, and you're like, fuck that one shot, and they're like, oh my god, that was great,
Yeah,
wow.
this is like the things that we like sometimes obsess over be
It's not that
nothing.
deep.
Naming that hopefully your next short film, not the one that you are also in the festival for, but naming like the next project that you work on is a zombie film set in Harlem.
I do want to make a zombie film.
The walking chopped cheese or some crap.
The
Um,
walking chop cheese is crazy.
somebody, the 5 second rule. Oh, sorry, 'cause that. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm getting ahead of myself. Brandon, take a second.
You got,
Okay,
we could
great. So
talk all
I
day.
have one more question and then I'll
Hmm.
wrap this up. Was there a mistake that you made during the process that ended up having like that ended up like working out in your favor?
It's not necessarily a ball that dropped, it was what we made with what we got.
Ooh,
So this is like, so the overhead shot, which I think is like one of the most pretty shots in the film, which is like me and Katrina, who plays Sade, like looking at each
yeah.
other.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted that shot so bad. And my DP is like, we don't have the equipment to get this shot. Like, we're not going to get the shot. And I was like, I guess we could do it from the side or whatever. But like, I wanted this overhead shot so bad. And so I
Mm-hmm.
guess my DP talked to my gaffer, Max, and was like, yo, we're going to have to, and this is so dangerous. Please do not do this. But we rigged it in, like, we took like a C stand, I think, and like
Mm-hmm.
we put the camera there and the like bar here.
Yeah.
We put a sandbag, and we were using an Alexa XT, which is like kind of a bigger camera.
Yeah.
This is like low key, high key dangerous. So the camera was like shaking as we were taking that shot. Like
Oof.
me and Katrina look up, and like the camera's low key like shaking a little bit. But we did 3 takes,
Okay.
and then
It was like,
I
all right,
was like,
we got something. Let's move on. It was worth
process,
it. Nobody got
because
hurt. The shot actually is very beautiful, and I'm glad y'all did that.
yeah.
Especially in the world of independent filmmaking, we all take some level of like risk, or
Mhm.
figuring out creative ways to um get the shot. Okay, so my last question. The first part is fill in the blank. And it
Mhm.
is Black queer film is
Black queer film is freedom.
Ooh, I love
Period.
that. T. Okay, so the second part of the question, I want you to close your eyes, and this is a sensory
Mhm,
question. Um,
mhm,
you said black queer film is freedom, and if that
mhm.
word was a scene, what does that scene look like? What does it smell like, taste like, feel like, sound like? What is coming up in your imagination right now?
I feel like I see like a colorful like sunrise or sunset.
Mm.
And I'm kind of like my brain is like jumping timelines, which doesn't make any sense. But like I see both like a field like of grass,
Hmm.
but also like two people in a field of grass or on a street, like on a sidewalk, looking at like the water.
Mm.
Because it's like I'm thinking both of like New York City, but also like a rural area too. Like I think
Yeah.
two people can exist in one space.
T.
And I just see like a close up of like caressing. Like just
Mm.
like soft, gentle. Um and I think it's like a moments like that where it's like you feel the most free. That's what I see.
Oh, that was beautiful. That is
Yeah.
beautiful. Thank you. It's time for a 60-second pitch, a creative sprint designed to exercise your imagination. Here's how it works. We've got 4 spin wheels with lead and supporting actors, movie genres, and plot devices. I'm going to spin the wheels, and whatever fate hands us, that's your movie. You'll get 30 seconds to ideate, then 60 seconds to pitch your film idea out loud. Let's go. All
I'm
right, so I'm
excited.
going to spin the wheel right now.
I'm so curious who I'm gonna get.
Oh, I'm screaming.
Okay, we
Okay.
got
I just knew
Niecy
it was gonna be.
Nash.
I knew it was gonna be Niecy Nash, but it was Mekhi Phifer. So Mekhi Phifer is your lead. Wanda Sykes is your supporting actress, and this is an animated film about going viral on TikTok. And your 60 seconds starts now.
Okay, so essentially, it starts off live action. It starts
Okay.
off with Mekhi Phifer and Wanda Sykes. It's a buddy comedy, right? And you know, they're getting ready for Mekhi Phifer's like wedding, and they do this whole like TikTok trend. But it's low key like a 13 going to 30 moment where like, she goes back in time, except they go into this animated world. Um,
Ooh.
yeah, so it goes from live action to animation. And so essentially, it's a thing of them trying to figure out how to get back into the human world. And they have to go through and comb through like the ether of the internet to get back to the TikTok trend that they did and
10
go back to
seconds.
their human selves. And that's the film,
Ooh,
period.
okay. What time to spare? What are you calling it?
Um, we're calling it We're calling it um the adventures of Kiki and Max. Period. I'm like, we're gonna figure it
Enough of the
out.
adventures of Kiki and Max. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Imani,
I
for
appreciate
being on Film
this.
Festival
Of
Friends. Is there
course.
anything that you want to say before you go? Anything that you want to leave folks with? Anything that's on your spirit or your heart right now?
I just want to thank you again for giving me the space to
Yeah.
yap. I had so much fun. You're an incredible filmmaker. Go
Thank
check
you.
out Brandon's work. But also, like, again, community is everything. So make sure you connect with people, become friends with people, because these are going to be the people that ride out for you when you make it big or whatever project you need help on. Make sure you check in with your community, showcase your work. Don't be fearful, be fearless.
Ooh, yeah.
And you gonna kill it. Just believe in yourself more than anyone else is, because no one can advocate for you like you can advocate for you.
Gee. And shout out to the Black aunties.
Lock in. Shout out to the Black aunties.
Shout out to the
Just
Black
ask a Black auntie to talk to you and you will be okay. Everything will be okay.
Look, all you need is a good Black auntie or two and
All you
everything
need is
will
good
work
Black
out.
auntie.